Good afternoon. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. I'm Craig Mish along with George Kurtz. It is Super Bowl week here on SportsGrid. The final NFL game of the season coming up Sunday at 6:30. So it is our last chance for George and I to chop up some football talk before we get to like the NFL draft in April and then of course the preseason and the end of August and September. George, it's been a long road. It's been an unpredictable season. I think you and I can go back in August if we were watching our shows and look at ourselves, how silly we would have looked predicting New England and Seattle in the Super Bowl this year. But here we are.
No, I think I had Buffalo and Green Bay, if I remember correctly. Baltimore might have been in there too. So you didn't have New England. I don't think most people thought Seattle would be here, but it is what it is. A little rematch of the, the Malcolm Butler Super Bowl there a few years ago. I'm glad the hype. It's about 48 hours away or so. I'm glad the hype is getting over now. I'm tired of the award shows, whatever they wanted to call the Pro Bowl games, whatever that was on Tuesday night, which I could not watch. I'm glad that's over now. And we're going to get down to the game. It'll be sad when it's over, Craig. There's no more football, really. No more football games for 6-7 months. But I'm glad we're getting closer and the hype is about to end.
Yeah, and really the end of football is the start of baseball. So for George and I, we are sort of unicorns in this industry where we both love football, but we love baseball just as much. So it's kind of okay that this is happening. And for our shows here, it's okay too. We get to talk a lot of fantasy baseball. It's hard to do when football is going on. And certainly with the Super Bowl Sunday, we're not going to do a lot of baseball today on the show. But rest assured, next week we are there with pitchers and catchers reporting. So naturally, as you know by now, Seattle's 4.5-point favorites over New England, and the total is 45.5. You're probably saying that in your sleep if you've been watching SportsGrid here for the past week. That's the current line on the FanDuel Sportsbook and everywhere else, and probably not a lot of movement heading into Sunday. We also found out a lot of players used to draft in fantasy got into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. They were named to it. They'll be inducted this summer. Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Roger Craig, Adam Vinatieri, all in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, great players once upon a time. Matthew Stafford wins the MVP over Drake May. A little bit of an upset. Some people thought maybe May would win. Stafford, one of the oldest MVPs in the history of the NFL. Congratulations to him. And the offensive player of the year, no surprise here, was Jackson Smith-Njigba. This is the non-quarterback award. JSN ends up winning that one. So real quick, George, let's get to the Hall of Fame here, and then we'll move on to some game stuff, some props, and everything else. Look, the NFL does, or pro football, I should say, does things differently than the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which is they guarantee 5 guys get in. So you know that a certain amount of players are. There was a lot of discussion as to why Bill Belichick and why Robert Kraft both didn't get in. They're going to both get in next year after all of this stuff, that's for sure. Larry Fitzgerald, a first-round pick in fantasy for many years, and even to the end of his career, played at a very high level, became more of a pass catcher, but certainly easily deserving of the Hall of Fame. Same could be said for Drew Brees. Adam Vinatieri, honestly, of the Indianapolis Colts. He played longer with the Colts than he did the Patriots. He won a Super Bowl with them. He won a bunch with New England. And Luke Kuechly, who retired early, very well deserved. And let me not forget, in the pre-fantasy era, I don't think a lot of folks were playing fantasy football as much when Roger Craig was running back for the 49ers, George. Roger Craig, an alien, would never play in this day and age of fantasy football with a guy, George, that was the running back, the goal line guy, the pass receiving guy out of the backfield. These guys just don't exist that much in the NFL anymore. And he was the beginning of the LaDainian Tomlinsons, Marshall Faulks, etc.
He was. Now listen, I say this and we talk Hall of Fame. I don't care. I'll argue about it till you want, but I gave up on the Hall of Fame a long time ago. It's not the Hall of Fame anymore. It's the Hall of Good, very good. People get in who shouldn't get in. Hey, if you had money on Adam Vinatieri getting in before Belichick or Kraft, God bless you. Not that Vinatieri doesn't deserve to be there. He does deserve it. I think he deserves to be there. Fitzgerald, too, quickly, have no problem there. Drew Brees, sure. Roger Craig, whatever. Once again, he hasn't played in, 33 years. How is this? Has his stats changed? In 33 years, how's he getting in now? He's not a Hall of Famer. He's just not. He's a good player. I was playing fantasy back then, started in 88. I'm sure I had him on a few teams, although back then you wanted Montana and Rice. But, this is what drives me crazy. You got to be kidding me. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's just not. But whatever. Like I said, it is what it is in these things here. We all know why Belichick and Kraft didn't get in. Belichick was cheating. Kraft did a rub and tug there, so it is what it is. It's not the Hall of Fame's job to be penalizing these guys for it. All right, that's what it was. That's what the NFL took care of, or Goodell took care of it. So they really probably shouldn't have penalized them for it, but they did. There. So, like I said, it is what it is there. By the way, you can make an argument that Vinatieri probably benefited from a deflated footballs too. Kickers generally like that. But like I said, it is what it is. And as you said, Craig, they'll all get in. Belichick will get in. Kraft will get in. Does Brady get in first shot? Didn't he cheat more than he
obviously should? It's ridiculous at this point.
If you're going to punish Belichick and Kraft, don't you have to punish Brady? You got to keep it up. I would love to see this.
Yeah, I wonder, by the way, if on Kraft when he does get in, because I think he'll get in next year on his bust, the Super Bowl bust. Will it say rub and tug under his? You think that on the plaque there, George? I didn't say George did. I'm just repeating. Okay.
During a playoff game, by the way, before a playoff game, he did. I mean, you got wow.
Okay, so one thing I want to add on Vinatieri, which is Justin Tucker. I guess this is along the same subject, unfortunately, but I didn't mean to do that. Justin Tucker, they were saying, George, would be the only other kicker that would ever get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm not sure that he will anymore, which means that Adam Vinatieri could be the very last kicker to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't see it. There's no current kicker or past kicker that has played that would get in. So it is very possible that Vinatieri is the final one. Okay, Matthew Stafford wins the MVP. I thought this choice was fine. He had a fantastic year. You and I were extremely worried about him going into the season, and let's not make any mistake about it. That's part of the story. I think if Matthew Stafford, George, was 34 as opposed to, how old was he, 40? I don't know. If he was younger, I think Drake May would have won the MVP, but I think this is give some love to the old guy. Very well deserved, in my opinion.
I think it could have gone either way. And I agree with you. It didn't bother me. Okay, the one writer who voted for Justin Herbert, he tried to defend it where he was running for his life and still making play. I'm not so sure if I buy that. I don't know where the writer was from. Was he from LA? Was that what it is? And that really probably did cost Drake May the award, or at least a tie for the award. So sort of is what it is there. I don't have any problem with Stafford getting it. Once again, the argument against Stafford would be that, well, a lot of those touchdown passes were 1 yarders to Devontae Adams. Very true, but they still count here. And the argument against May was always the schedule, right? Schedule was bad, but he didn't have anywhere near the weapons that Stafford did. So I can see the argument both ways. I know Adam Kaufman, our resident Patriots fan, had a stroke last night when May didn't win the award and was going off on Twitter, which I found hilarious. But like I said, in the end, I don't worry about this. I don't. And it's another, just like the Hall of Fame, I don't worry about these either because it's always political. Like I said, why the one writer vote for Herbert? Why? And this goes on almost every award of this type here. But in the end, Stafford wins. I don't care. If May would have won, I wouldn't have cared. I think it's fine. Either one was a good choice.
This is your I don't care show officially here, man. Like, you're really knocking out the I don't cares on this program. I don't care about the Hall of Fame. I don't care about who wins the award. Do you care that Jackson Smith-Njigba was the Offensive Player of the Year? Do you want to throw an I don't care at him too? He was really good.
Should that have been McCaffrey? I know he got the comeback play, and God forbid he should win both. But I still think, listen, I think McCaffrey could have been the MVP because of what he meant to the 49ers with all those injuries, right? No Purdy, no Kittle, no Juwan Jennings, no Brandon Ayuk. I mean, I think he could have made a pretty good argument here, but they don't want to give the award, more than one award to one person. And since McCaffrey got the comeback player of the year, they had no chance for the offensive player. Once again, I'm fine with JSN getting it. I guess Puka Nacua could have argued for this as well, by the way. But in my mind, McCaffrey, I just wonder this: if he wasn't hurt last year, what award would he have won this year? MVP?
Yeah.
Oh, MVP?
Yeah. It's a fair point. You are a little salty on the show today, though. You are a little salty, honestly. A little bit. You need a massage.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
The money line keeps climbing, though, if you'll notice.
Yes.
The point spread hasn't moved. It's been locked in at 4.5. The money line, though, keeps creeping up, man. It was 210, and it's funny because normally you figure the number would be correlated, right? It's like, all right, the money line, the point spread's this, that means the money line is that, which tells us there's a lot of money line plays coming in on Seattle.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Adding Hunter doesn't instantly fix its woes, it paper cuts them. He helps their perimeter defense and spacing, but Sacramento still lacks a true star and parts that they have to move. Hunter and Sacramento won't save the season, but this move tells you the Kings have officially given up on its aspirational stars and doubling down on depth as their future.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'll go to my grave convinced, by the way, if Sean Payton takes the field goal and goes up 10-0, maybe that's a totally different game and Denver's playing this weekend instead. So I'm not trying to bash New England. They obviously are a very good team. I just don't think they're a great team, and I felt like the winner of the NFC title game was going to win the Super Bowl, so I still feel, as we're days leading up to this game, I still feel like that's the case.
Pro football today, only on SportsGrid.
All right. Welcome to Fantasy Sports today here on SportsGrid. We're going to try and get George in a better mood. He admits that he started off the first 15 minutes of the show sort of like, it must be is it the winter getting to you, George? Is that what it is? Is it the shoveling of the snow and the cold and the fact that next week it's going to...
Getting more tomorrow. And
it's cold here too.
-15 wind chills here. So yeah, it's a little much.
I know, I understand, George, but look, it's
spring training baseball 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You'll be able to see me out there getting sun. Isn't that you're gonna be happy with?
I'll still be shoveling snow.
I'll be out there at Jupiter. Okay, is this right? Oh yeah, $1 million to first place and $2.75 million in the pot at DraftKings this week. This is an extraordinary difficult contest to win. It's one game. This is a single game, and it's the Super Bowl, so everybody's trying to play. Everybody's trying to win. So let's go through it. And this is certainly tough. You almost have to pick somebody completely off the beaten path here to win this million. So Jackson Smith-Njigba is the highest priced wide receiver of anybody all season, of course. 17,400. Stephon Diggs, 12,900. And then the drop-off begins to Kayshon Boutte, Cooper Kupp at 7,800, Rashid Shaheed at 6,300, Mac Hollins checks in at 5,400, Demario Douglas 4,800. I would even contend probably got to go even lower than that to try and pick up $1 million. There's a lot of schools of thought. You could do several of these and then just try to cash. And for those, you got to pick the best guys. But in order to take home the whole thing, George, you got to really hit on your low price guy.
Well, we still got to figure out, what do we expect New England to do? Is Christian Gonzalez going to travel with JSN? That's what I would do. And I know, listen, all-time Bill Belichick, he always tried to take away the opposing offense's best weapon, which would be JSN. So I'd want Gonzalez to travel with them. It's easier said than done. Gonzalez has to be able to play both sides. Plus, your other quarterback has to be able to play both sides. It's why teams don't always do this. Sometimes it's a detriment here. But if you think Gonzalez is going to travel, then I'm probably leaving JSN alone. If you don't, then I'm probably playing JSN. It's that simple for me. I'm not going to go Diggs. It's too much money for him. I do believe in Boutte. All right, I have a prop bet on him as well here to get over his yardage there. Kupp is going to be very popular too, because if you don't believe in JSN, then you're automatically going to go down to Cooper Kupp, right? You have to play somebody on Seattle. And right. Matt Collins, I like Matt Collins in this game. Now that he's back healthy, he's a guy they rely on here. I actually like Matt Collins more than I like Stephon Diggs.
I kind of like Bobo to catch a touchdown in this one. I feel like Seattle is going to have a touchdown to a player that's a little bit obscure. That would be my guess in this game. Okay, at running back, there are two above the rest. I mean, I can't even make a case for anyone else here. And it's in this other fantasy league that we're playing in, the Survivor Fantasy League. I can't even find a second running back to play. I don't have any. Kenneth Walker, 14-7, of course. Ramondre Stevenson, 13-2. And a lot of folks are going to pivot over to Travion Henderson and go for broke here at 5,700. But George, he's just not getting the ball and he's not getting chances. I guess he's just not as good a blocker and he's not running as well as Stevenson. And then you have Holani at 3,600, Cam Akers, who has he seen the field at 2,100?
Well, you're not playing Akers, right? You can't. And that's just, you're hoping for an injury. That's really what you hope for, is there's an injury. Holani will probably get a couple carries there. They can't give a look at every carry. The thing is, you generally don't run much against New England. That run defense is good. So if you're thinking about a big yardage on the ground game from Walker, it's going to be tough to get. I think Walker's going to get more catches out of the backfield. Once again, the theory would be, by the way, you could say this of both offenses. They're going to want Drake May and Sam Darnold to be relaxed. How do you relax a quarterback? A couple of nice little short dump-offs. Right? Short dump-offs, catch the ball, get into a rhythm here, away we go here, and we get some free yardage that way. What you said about Henderson is so true. He really hasn't touched the ball much since week 12. For whatever reason, they trust Stevenson more, which is kind of ironic since he puts the ball on the ground, but he is better at the blitz pickups. I think there was something they're worried about here. That being said, you said it's go for broke with Henderson. Craig, their schedule's been light, New England, right? They think they've known they would win most of these games. They didn't have to do much. Against Seattle, they've got to do something. And I do wonder if that puts Henderson back in play, that they need those big runs. They need a 12, 14-yard gain here and there, or the explosion run for 50, 60 yards and a touchdown. I do wonder if Henderson gets more play this weekend.
Yeah, the narrative is that from a lot of the folks that do what we do is to bet on his overs and take shots on all his stuff. I'm the other way. I don't know. I mean, I just don't see New England all of a sudden doing something they haven't done in 2 months, but we'll see. Okay, tight end here, very easy too. Hunter Henry at 10,500, AJ Barner of Seattle at 7,200, and then you're literally spending money on zeros. Austin Hooper at 3, Elijah Arroyo 1,800, Eric Saubert at 900. You got to pick one of the two, Henry or Barner. You can't enter lineups without one of those two guys.
Henry. I'm going to go Henry here. Seattle's not that great against. They're not terrible, but they're not great against tight ends here. We know Henry's the sort of the safety blanket for Drake May. So I'm going to go Hunter Henry here. I'll take him as my guy. I think he might be outside of Butte, my favorite of the pass catchers on New England.
And then at quarterback, do you want to save $300 with Sam Darnold, thinking that he could have a better game than Drake May? Because that's really the two choices here. As George said, those quarterbacks are both above 16,000, and you made a good point. It's like if you're going with somebody else here, you're hoping for an injury. In the history of the Super Bowl, have we ever seen an injury like this? No. So Dobbs is 9, Drew Lock is 9. He's on Seattle. I didn't even know what team's Tommy DeVito on? Is he on New England?
New England.
Okay.
New England. Yeah, I knew he was on New England.
Yeah, he's on New England. All right. So no one's picking him either. So you flip your coin on May or Darnold.
I mean, if you're going with May, who's been terrible, he's been absolutely terrible. I'm not really worried about the injury for either one, the oblique for Darnold or the shoulder for May. I think they're fine. But you're banking on the running ability, right? That's what you're banking on. And he's been very good at that. That's one thing he has been good at. Throwing, not so much here. It'll depend on how it breaks out to me, but if I need the $300, I have no problem going with Darnold. He is going to throw the ball more, and I do expect him to be more successful doing that. He's got better receivers. He has JSN. He has Kenneth Walker out of the backfield. Right, got Cooper Kupp. So Rashid Shaheed, by the way, I have no doubt they're going to try some big plays with him. Throw the post, throw the fly pattern there. See if back those safeties off. Even if they're not successful, they are part of the game plan here to get those safeties to back off here. So I don't mind taking Sam Darnold.
Have you noticed something, George, this year? I mentioned this on Newswire earlier today. I feel like I've seen all the Super Bowl commercials already. I don't know why, but they're all out there on social media. Usually there's like one or two. I'm like getting emails with the commercials. Very strange.
I've seen a couple, but to me, there hasn't seemed to be anything more than normal. But then again, I don't watch many commercials. I just zip through everything. So
who cares, right? Who cares? Who cares about?
Yeah, who cares?
Right? Who cares?
I'm not watching it. Who cares about the halftime show?
It's the Who Cares show. Either. Baseball talk up next. Don't go away.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andre Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
The money line keeps climbing, though, if you'll notice.
Yes.
The point spread hasn't moved. It's been locked in at 4.5. The money line, though, keeps creeping up, man. It was 210, and it's funny because normally you figure the number would be correlated, right? It's like, all right, the money line, the point spread's this, that means the money line is that, which tells us there's a lot of money line plays coming in on Seattle.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Adding Hunter doesn't instantly fix its woes, it paper cuts them. He helps their perimeter defense and spacing, but Sacramento still lacks a true star and parts that they have to move. Hunter and Sacramento won't save the season, but this move tells you the Kings have officially given up on its aspirational stars and doubling down on depth as their future.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'll go to my grave convinced, by the way, if Sean Payton takes the field goal and goes up 10-0, maybe that's a totally different game and Denver's playing this weekend instead. So I'm not trying to bash New England there. They obviously are a very good team. I just don't think they're a great team, and I felt like the winner of the NFC title game was going to win the Super Bowl, so I still feel, as we're days leading up to this game, I still feel like that's the case.
Pro football today, only on SportsGrid.
Soon as the clock ticks 0 on Sunday night's Super Bowl, we move toward baseball season. So we've been kind of teasing you a little bit in the months of January and February toward that. But here we go. Next week we'll be in on baseball. And the biggest chips have fallen in free agency. Still a few players out there, but come on. I mean, at this point, fantasy, you know exactly what you're getting on the season. What we didn't know, George, was that Tarek Skubal was going to break the all-time record for most money given out to a player in arbitration. I honestly did not think this was going to happen. The Tigers offered him about 20, and he asked for about 32. I thought he'd meet somewhere in the middle, whether it was through them agreeing or through arbitration. But no, the arbiter ruled that Skubal should make 32. And it was fascinating because they just signed Framber Valdez less than 48 hours before that to a 3-year contract. So I'm not really sure how this whole thing transpired. A lot of discussion on this. A lot of discussion. Did they sign Valdez because they knew that they were going to lose a Skubal case, they're going to trade Skubal? Did they sign Valdez because now that they figured that they were just going to have Skubal no matter what, that they may as well just go for it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What I know is the Tigers are one of those franchises that needed to do this and needs to have those two guys. A chance to win a World Series, George, doesn't come around very often. And for Detroit, it's been a really long time. I know they've been good the last couple of years, but they got, to me, the best or one of the very best managers in baseball in A.J. Hinch. Top 2 left-handed pitchers maybe in the league. So hopefully, hopefully they keep this together because I'd like to see Detroit make a run.
I mean, there's so many ways to go at this. I always assumed they'd lose. They lowballed them. I mean, 19 million? No matter what you think about 19 million, by the way, as far as baseball salaries are concerned, they lowballed them. I mean, there was a joke that Boris could just show up to the hearing, drop the 2 Cy Youngs on the table and go, mic drop, I'm done. And just move on from there. So I wasn't surprised he won. I don't know why the Tigers came in so low. It's like they were trying to make a statement. Apparently, Major League Baseball pushed them towards this as well. And you lost, whatever. According to Jeff Passan or Ken Rosenthal, I forget which one had the article I was reading yesterday, they did not are not planning on trading him. And they're not right now anyway. So they weren't saying, we lost, now we're going to trade him. Okay, we'll see if that's true. I mean, what you said is true, Craig. They're probably the big-time odds-on favorite to win the American League Central. And you go into a playoff series with Skubal, Valdez, Casey Mize, Jack Flaherty. I mean, if McGonigal, the rookie, if he ends up being that good a player too, I mean, your offense is better. I mean, they'd be a true threat. I don't know if I'd say they're the number one team. Toronto's still good. Yankees will be a problem. Seattle is a very good team. So there'll be other teams there, but they're certainly a World Series contender in the American League. Are they better than the Dodgers? No, I'm not saying that. But they're in the American League. They'd be a contender here, which means what will they do at the trade deadline? Assuming they don't trade Skubal. Would they trade him then if they're 4 games up in the American League Central? Are you going to risk this? Are we getting nothing for him? I mean, it's a huge problem for the Tigers because if you're not going to trade him now, I don't see you trading him at the deadline either. That'd be a PR nightmare.
Well, I would say this just from talking. Again, I have some access to talk to people in the industry and kind of understanding how this works. So my understanding on Skubal, George, is completely different than what you may think because of the Ohtani situation. The industry feels like the Angels suffered a catastrophic loss not trading Ohtani. And you look back on it now and think even just getting that guy for 4 months, what could they have gotten? And they didn't do it. I don't think the Tigers are going to make that same mistake if they're in a similar position, because that's the view on it. And, thinking back on it now, the Angels are in purgatory sort of forever here. It feels like they could have got back a huge haul, and they just chose not to do it. Let the guy walk.
They traded
Seattle.
in.
Yeah, I don't. I mean that is looked at maybe look, Mookie Betts being traded. Obviously, they got nothing back. Okay. Other than that, and by the way, I still think Chaim Bloom's great, and he's going to do a great job with St. Louis. But looking back, not trading Ohtani, George, may have destroyed the Angels' decade. Honestly,
Agreed.
Like that. I don't know what they could have gotten. But he was the best player in the game then. He's the best player in the game now. Seattle gets Brendan Donovan in a 3-way trade. Cardinals are just playing for the future. Rays were involved as well. This helps Seattle. I think St. Louis is going about this the right way, George, but the Cardinals are going to lose a lot of games. That's all.
Agreed. Cardinals also got screwed the TV deal too, right? They're going to lose 2/3 of their TV money there. Donovan, they say, is going to start at third base for Seattle, but he will be moved around the infield. Super utility player, good player, Donovan. Like the move for Seattle, sort of replaced the bat they lost in Polanco.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll return with more fantasy sports today, right after these messages. Don't go away.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
The money line keeps climbing, though, if you'll notice.
Yes.
The point spread hasn't moved. It's been locked in at 4.5. The money line, though, keeps creeping up, man. It was 210, and it's funny because normally you figure the number would be correlated, right? It's like, all right, the money line, the point spread's this, that means the money line is that, which tells us there's a lot of money line plays coming in on Seattle.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Adding Hunter doesn't instantly fix its woes, it paper cuts them. He helps their perimeter defense and spacing, but Sacramento still lacks a true star and parts that they have to move. Hunter and Sacramento won't save the season, but this move tells you the Kings have officially given up on its aspirational stars and doubling down on depth as their future.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'll go to my grave convinced, by the way, if Sean Payton takes the field goal and goes up 10-0, maybe that's a totally different game and Denver's playing this weekend instead. So I'm not trying to bash New England there. They obviously are a very good team. I just don't think they're a great team, and I felt like the winner of the NFC title game was going to win the Super Bowl, so I still feel, as we're days leading up to this game, I still feel like that's the case.
Pro football today, only on SportsGrid.
right, we're going to dive into a number of topics here on the show. We'll dive into Scooble's arbitration, Drake May's MVP, and a whole lot more. It's time to play a little buy or sell. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest. When Juan Soto got 31 million, I thought that'd be the all-time record. I didn't think anybody would pass that. I guess I should realize that players in sports are making more money than ever, and the salary caps keep going up in sports. Not that baseball has one, but I think it's fair to assume we could be headed toward that. George, buy or sell? No player will ever win more money in arbitration than Tarek Skubal. His number was 32. You gonna buy or sell that?
I think it depends on what the new CBA brings us, right? If there is an arbitration system and it's close to what it is now, then I would sell this. I mean, you just said it. Salaries keep going up. Maybe there'll be some kind of cap. Maybe there won't be. We don't know. We just don't know what the system is going to be. If everything was going to stay the same, I would sell this. I said someone will do it along the line. It may not be next year, it may not be the year after that, or whatever it might be, but someone eventually would beat it. That being said, for the purposes of this question, I don't know what it's going to be like. So I'll buy this because I don't think it's going to be the same arbitration process. Although this is not a major CBA problem because it doesn't affect enough players for the union to really go after it. Just like the qualifying offer is the same thing. I think they'd like to change it, but I don't know if they're really going to care enough. So we'll see. But I think salary's going to keep going up. Although I think something has to change as far as the monetary system here. So it's a tough one. It's a good question by Sam here. So it depends on what you believe. You think the system stays? Then this is a sell. Someone will beat it. If you think the system changes, then it's a buy.
Yeah, I think the system will change. I mean, nobody really loves arbitration. The players don't love it. I don't think the league loves it. It's getting to the point where I think there's a better understanding. But I just know that some of the folks who are sitting in this arbitration who are ruling really don't have the best education about baseball. And that's kind of part of the problem here is baseball gives the independent arbiters the opportunity to do it. Will that be collectively bargained in the next agreement? I don't know, but I do believe arbitration in some way will stay, and in some way someone's getting paid more than 32 million. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, you see, especially, by the way, if there is a salary cap in the future, you see what these guys in the NFL are getting and the NBA. And wasn't it just convenient for the NFL to announce like another 50 million added to the cap this coming year? Oh, all that dead money. We can't do it because of the dead money, but here's another $50 million. Ridiculous conversation. Okay, so Drake May did not win the MVP. He came in second to Matthew Stafford, but he still has a long career ahead of him. In fact, in just his second year, he finished second. Buy or sell, Drake May, George, will win an NFL MVP award during his career. Buy or sell?
I don't think that Drake May is all that great a quarterback. I don't. I think he's a good quarterback. I'm not going to put him up there with Joe Burrows of the world and guys like that. I don't think he's of that ilk here. I do think they had an easy schedule. Say it again. Doesn't matter. They didn't make their schedule. NFL gave them that, and they took advantage of it. Good for them. So I think those numbers are a little inflated because of that. I think he's a good NFL quarterback. All right, no problem with it. I don't think he's a great NFL quarterback. So, no, I'll say he won't. Who knows with these awards, right? But you got Burrow, you got Lamar Jackson, you got, a million other quarterbacks here, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen. It's tough to win these awards, all right? It's just tough here. I'll sell this. I'll say he won't, but I don't care.
So it's a little apples and oranges comparing this to Dan Marino going to the Super Bowl, but I kind of feel the same way. Like Marino said that when he went to the Super Bowl back in I believe it was 84, or I think it was 84, 85, he thought that, all right, I'm just going to be in 10 Super Bowls and win a bunch of MVPs, and it just never happened for him ever again. I got to tell you, I'm sort of on board with George here. I don't know. I think Drake May's good, but everything just kind of went together and fell into his lap this season. The team won a lot of games, and he was really good on a great team. I would bet against this, so I'm going to sell. I don't think that he's going to win the MVP at all. Now, could he finish top 5? Sure, but this was one of those storybook seasons. Maybe it ends with the Super Bowl MVP. Fantasy football 2026, 5 months away from that conversation, but let's get it started now. The New England Patriots going into the season certainly didn't have a lot of fanfare with fantasy. Maybe they exit with some. Buy or sell, the Patriots will not have a player taken in the first 2 rounds of fantasy drafts this season. Top 24 picks. Is there a Patriot involved? Buy or sell, George?
Well, once again, I've learned from Craig that we have to read these questions, right? We have to be very lawyer-like. It doesn't say what kind of league. All right. So you have to do that. Superflex League, Drake May will go in the first 2 rounds. I think he would.
86 team league.
If we're talking a regular standard league, I swear I'm doing my best to make Sam angry. Now, because so you're not taking a quarterback first 2 rounds. As much as we like Stevenson, Henderson, they sort of devalue each other. Hunter Henry's a no. Stephon Diggs, no. So right now, no. They'd have to pick up somebody in free agency, which they might do. I would think that for May's sake, you've got to get him a number 1 wide receiver, whether it's a free agency, whether it's through a draft or whatever it might be. So there's a possibility, but right now, no. I don't. First 24 picks. When's the first patient you're taking? I mean, are we going to trust Stevenson to do it again? That's my issue there. So it could be a lot longer than 24. This is an easy buy for me. They will not have a first player, not in the first 24 picks.
If by some chance the Patriots, George, moved Ramondre Stevenson, would the answer then be sell? Would you then think that Henderson goes in the top 24? Yes, right?
Yeah, I agree.
How about vice versa? How about if they traded Stevenson, or how about if they traded Henderson? Would Stevenson go? I'm not sure, right? I don't know.
I think it's a running back. There's not enough of them.
You think he would though? I don't know. I think Henderson would. I don't know that Stevenson would. Yeah. But anyway,
I agree.
George is right. I mean, we probably could have done 3 rounds. I'll buy this. I honestly don't know who the first offensive player taken. It may be Drake May. It may be Drake May. It could be, and by the way, he won't be a first or second round pick in fantasy next year. So there you go. NFL announcing they're going to be playing games on Venus. No, I'm just kidding. They're playing like everywhere, literally, like on planets, countries, Brazil, Colombia, Australia. Is there anywhere left that they're not going to play? Buy or sell? The NFL should have more games in other countries. What countries are left?
That's the first question, right? Where else could you possibly play? When's that Australia game going to be? That's a massive time zone change. Is that going to be the Friday night game? So that's going to be interesting when they're going to play that as far as the timing goes for both countries there. Listen, they're not going anywhere. It's the new revenue generator. All right. So we can complain about it, wake you up at 9 a.m., wake you up earlier to watch those games on Sunday morning. All you like, they're not going anywhere. I think eventually they want to have a full schedule. Maybe not all 17 or 18 weeks, whatever we end up playing here. Maybe nothing in week 1, maybe nothing in the last week of the season. But I think every other week, Greg, I think they want an international game. It's money. It's just money. Should the NFL have more games in other countries? That's the question. I'm going to sell this. Should they? No. Will they? Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to say buy, because if it makes the league better and it makes it more fun, they're all about it. And most importantly, it makes them more money international. So who am I to stop people from making money? If that's what the NFL wants, sure. But like George, the Australia thing is very bizarre considering the time change. I don't know how they're going to do that game. Beyond that, they'll find some other place to play, and they'll just keep playing around the world. I don't think there's any doubt about that. All right, that's buy or sell. Coming up next, George and I will have our favorite Super Bowl props going into the weekend. Did you buy squares, George? Do you have any squares? Are you involved in any of those games?
You got to have squares. I got some thing with family squares. My wife's work has, and we bought some squares.
Yeah,
They're
my
fun.
son's baseball team has the squares. I don't know what number that I got though. I have to check.
No,
I
they
know
haven't
I
picked
got
them yet. Usually they get that till the weekend.
Tomorrow? Yeah, I got five squares here, so I'm hoping to win that. And then we have our fantasy league coming to the end here, our Survivor League too. Okay, so we'll take a quick break. We'll come back next with those props and continue on here for the next 20 or so minutes. And George and I, by the way, back Sunday morning with Joe Pizzapia, Matt Stryker for our Super Bowl fantasy special. You're watching Fantasy Sports today on SportsGrid. We'll be right back.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
The money line keeps climbing, though, if you'll notice.
Yes.
The point spread hasn't moved. It's been locked in at 4.5. The money line, though, keeps creeping up, man. It was 210, and it's funny because normally you figure the number will be correlated, right? It's like, all right, the money line, the point spread's this, that means the money line is that, which tells us there's a lot of money line plays coming in on Seattle.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Adding Hunter doesn't instantly fix its woes, it paper cuts them. He helps their perimeter defense and spacing, but Sacramento still lacks a true star and parts that they have to move. Hunter and Sacramento won't save the season, but this move tells you the Kings have officially given up on its aspirational stars and doubling down on depth as their future.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'll go to my grave convinced, by the way, if Sean Payton takes the field goal and goes up 10-0, maybe that's a totally different game and Denver's playing this weekend instead. So I'm not trying to bash New England. They obviously are a very good team. I just don't think they're a great team, and I felt like the winner of the NFC title game was going to win the Super Bowl. So I still feel, as we're days leading up to this game, I still feel like that's the case.
Pro football today, only on SportsGrid.
George and I's final look at the Super Bowl before we get to Sunday morning, and we'll see if the line changes over the weekend. But as of right now, still 4.5. Seattle favored, and total 45.5. I don't see those numbers deviating maybe by a half point on the total. I don't see the side changing at all. They somehow seem to be saying that more money has come in, George, on Seattle than any other team. But that's not possible because the line has not changed. So I don't understand where that could possibly come from. It's the more money's coming on the Seahawks, but we're going to keep the line the same. Really? I don't think so. Let me give you my... Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So the line would change. So let me give you my favorite Super Bowl props, George, and then I'll ask you for yours. I am going to go with these three. First of all, I got Kayshon Boutte of the New England Patriots over longest reception of 17.5. It seems to me he's their bigger play guy. Diggs has been that guy over the middle. Boutte's been the long guy. And I think that he does catch a long pass in this game. Not that I think that New England's going to win. I just think that that's part of it. When everyone is zigging, I'm zagging. Everybody is betting everything on Travion Henderson. Based on what? I have no idea. The guy just doesn't play, hasn't played, and has not been a factor at all in their offense. So why would I just all of a sudden predict something's going to change there? Certainly I don't know. He could end up with 20, 30, 40, 50 yards, but I think his longest rush is coming in the under 7.5 yards. I don't think that he's going to get more than a handful of carries. And I think if you look at Seattle's defense, they should be able to stop him. And I think even Stevenson completely on the ground. So under 7.5 minus 102. That's my second one. And then my third one, which may be my favorite of them all, the distance of the longest successful field goal, 49.5. I remember when this number used to be, George, 43 and 44. And this they have to make it this high, but there will be a team that's going to attempt a 60-yard field goal in this game, George. It's going to happen. It happens in almost every NFL game, and guess what? I'm not betting on making it. I'm betting it on the most successful field goal, which is betting on making it. What am I saying? 49.5. It's been a long football season. 49, not attempted, made. 49.5. I think somebody kicks in the 50s at the very least, maybe even a 60. So those are my three. And my favorite is the kicker one.
Now, I'm the first person to tell you, I'm going to have fun with the props on Super Bowl. Always do.
Because you don't care.
I am betting everything. Well, it's the last football game. I actually do care. That being said, I'm not, because you don't win money betting like I'm going to bet. 'Cause I'm going to have 25 prop bets. All right, it's not the way to go about things. You pick a tough
25?
one, it's fun. All right, I'm going to listen from the opening kickoff. All right, whether it'll be a touchback, return. What's the
How
first
do you
score?
keep
of the
up?
game,
How do you even
field goal?
know? How do you even know what you won and lost? You have a running tally or something? How do you keep track of that?
No, if I'm alone, yes. If I'm not alone, no. If I'm going to be watching the game by myself, yes, then I'll have all my bets and I'll just do a little check mark. So you're betting everything. You're literally betting everything.
But what does it matter
I'm
if somebody's with you?
Because then I'm going to be talking it down. I'm not going to be paying attention to every little detail of it. I'm just not, and I generally won't pay. At least not.
But how do you not know at this point if you're going to be alone or what's the deal? The game's Sunday.
Wow, I'm catching strays here. All right.
No, but how do you not know what your plans are for?
Right now, I do not have plans. Right now, I'm home.
Okay.
So,
okay. So
we'll see. My brother was supposed to come over, but he canceled on me because he's a pain in the butt. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I may end up going to a friend's house. Someone's having a party. We'll enjoy doing that. But we'll see. But anyway, I'm betting everything. All right. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to bet the length of the national anthem, which I think is 119 and a half seconds offhand. So I do know the number here, but I doubt I'm going to go that. Although I'd probably go under. They don't seem to go over anymore. I think they've been told to keep it short. Let's go. So we'll go for there here. Yeah, the color of the Gatorade. I'll have a bet on that. I'm going purple. I think Seattle's going to win. It's my plus 800 for purple, and Seattle's a purple team. How about that? Even though odds are it'll be green or yellow that comes.
This is expert advice coming in here. I love it.
As is fair, listen, we're gonna have fun, right? Have fun, enjoy here. My favorites though are some of the ones you had. Butte over 29 and a half receiving yards. I'm not a big Diggs guy. I think Butte is going to be the guy they're going to use there. Seahawks, I'm on the Hawks minus 4.5. I think they win the game. This is just a better overall team. I don't feel great about the over 45 and a half, but I can't take an under in a Super Bowl. Most Super Bowls are over.
Yeah, you can.
When things start to go wrong for a team, they start to make mistakes, get turnovers, stuff like that. And I haven't done it yet, but I am fiddling with the idea of betting for a return for a touchdown, either a defensive fumble return, except for
I forgot about that. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
I forgot
I'll
about
probably
that.
have that.
That's a good one.
I kind of like that. I'm the opposite of Xavier Henderson. I'm like everybody else. I like Henderson in this game. I think they have to use him. It's a gamble, though. No doubt. They haven't used since week 12, so it's a gamble here.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's come down. Kenneth Walker, 21 and a half now. It was 23 and a half when I actually made this bet. A little annoying there. I just think they're going to have little short little dump-offs to Kenneth Walker to get Donald in the groove here. So I'm going to like Kenneth Walker's receiving yardage, not so much as rushing yardage. New England's a good rushing defense team. But we're going to have some fun with Super Bowl, Craig.
Yeah, the trend has been in the playoffs. I kept forgetting about it. I forgot about that. I want to add that to my fourth one, I guess. But the trend has been defensive and special teams touchdowns in the playoffs. There's been a lot. So I definitely agree with that. So Sunday, you're planning on just riding it out solo, so you'll have the list of bets with you. Okay, well, look, I guess if it makes it have more fun, then do it. I don't know about what my plans are yet. I may have a party. I may not. I'm sort of on the fence here, but we got to host 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and then they're playing it back from 10 to 12, but you never know. We could be live again. So may put a wrench in my plans for Sunday.
So you busted my chops. You don't know what you're doing either. You may be doing the same thing.
It's true.
My wife is actually off. My wife is never off. My wife usually, oh, no, I have to work Super Bowl Sunday. But this actually year, she actually is off. So, it doesn't mean she's going to watch the game, by the way.
Yeah, no, I think I'll probably end up having a few people over to watch the game. Would be my guess. But there's still so much. We got a baseball game Friday night. My son's got a game. Marlins Fan Fest is Saturday. I don't even know how to get to Sunday yet. So there you go. By the way, if you want to stream our programming while watching the big game on Sunday night, just download the SportsGrid app for iOS and Android. Take out your phone, scan that QR code, and George can put all of his bets in the SportsGrid app, and it will track it for him and tell him how much money that he's lost after betting 25 different props on Sunday. Good luck with that. Right. Expert advice here at SportsGrid. Bet 25 props.
No, I said not to. That's not the way to go about it. I know I'm doing it the wrong way.
The way to go about it is don't listen to me. I'm betting 25 props. You only bet 25.
26. I think the number's 26 now that the defensive prop.
26. He just went up. We'll wrap it up now.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
The money line keeps climbing, though, if you'll notice.
Yes.
The point spread hasn't moved. It's been locked in at 4.5. The money line, though, keeps creeping up, man. It was 210, and it's funny because normally you figure the number would be correlated, right? It's like, all right, the money line, the point spread's this, that means the money line is that, which tells us there's a lot of money line plays coming in on Seattle.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Adding Hunter doesn't instantly fix its woes, it paper cuts them. He helps their perimeter defense and spacing, but Sacramento still lacks a true star and parts that they have to move. Hunter and Sacramento won't save the season, but this move tells you that the Kings have officially given up on its aspirational stars and doubling down on depth as their future.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
I'll go to my grave convinced, by the way, if Sean Payton takes the field goal and goes up 10-0, maybe that's a totally different game and Denver's playing this weekend instead. So I'm not trying to bash New England. They obviously are a very good team. I just don't think they're a great team, and I felt like the winner of the NFC title game was going to win the Super Bowl. So I still feel, as we're days leading up to this game, I still feel like that's the case.
Pro football today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. Fantasy Sports Today here on SportsGrid. Interesting stat here. Lowest passing success rate for a quarterback to reach the Super Bowl since 1978. Check this out. Number 1, Rex Grossman, 31.3. I was at that Super Bowl that Rex Grossman played. Bears, Colts. Drake May is number 2 at 31.5. How about that? Trent Dilfer, 3. Jaworski, 4. Elway, 5. And McNair, 6. I was at 2 of these 6 Super Bowls. How about that? When that was Titans Rams, I believe. I was at that Super Bowl. Steve McNair, unfortunately, died several years ago while I was doing a radio show. Horrible ending to his life. Rest in peace, Air McNair. So does Drake May become a guy that wins the Super Bowl? If I'm not mistaken, Dilfer would be the one that had the lowest ever in 2000. Dilfer was pretty good with Tampa Bay. I covered his career there. He really wasn't much in Baltimore, but they ran the bleep out of the ball and had the best defense ever.
Well, that's probably the common denominator of all of these is great defenses, right? When your quarterback's playing that poorly, you're not going to win too many games here. I've said this before. I'm giving May a pass for last week or 2 weeks ago, right? I think McDaniels and Vrabel knew we don't need May. All right, we're going to beat Denver. They don't have a quarterback. The weather's horrific here. We just can't turn the ball over, hand the ball off. Right, don't make mistakes and we'll win the game. So I'll give a pass for that game. Houston was turning the ball over as many times as they were, so they'd have to worry about that game. Yeah, they've lived a little charmed life here. So I think he's better than this. So I'm not all that. I'm not going to get on him for this, but it's an interesting list here. Grossman, not really a starting quarterback. Dilfer, not really a starting quarterback. The other 3 were Jaworski, Elway, and McNair. Elway's interesting, 35.6 and 86. That's the year they played the Giants. So I believe there. So
Elway was good
there. Right, he's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks ever. Could have been a right fielder for the Yankees.
Did you see that documentary, by the way? It was pretty good.
Yes.
Elway?
Yes.
It was pretty good. Yeah. All right, let's do this. We will hit it. It's our favorite time of the week, and it's our last SportsGrid 60 of the NFL season. Here we go.
I'm going to tell you why I'm very careful with where I spend my Super Bowl. All right. There's a reason I don't mind being alone for it. Worst Super Bowl experience I ever had. went to I'm a hockey player, played a lot of hockey in my life, and one of my teammates was having a big Super Bowl party. I don't remember the game itself. It was the one where the Rolling Stones were doing the halftime show. I do remember that. The reason I bring it up is watching the game, and these are football fans, but not fanatics, not like maybe we are. And every time, Lori had to go to the bathroom, they're pausing so she doesn't miss the commercials.
Oh my gosh, no way.
Every time, Lori or Cindy or Melanie. And after a while, we were over 20 minutes behind. Now, this is really before social media was crazy, so it wasn't like I was getting alerts or up and down.
Gotcha.
But at halftime, I look at my friend of mine. He looks at me and he nods his head. I'm like, "We're out of here. I can't take this anymore." All right, we're literally 20 minutes behind here. I'm like, I live 10 minutes away. We can get back before the second half starts. Halftime's the longer here. That was the worst experience I've ever had, and that's why I'm very careful where I spend my Super Bowls with.
Yep, I understand completely. We had a phenomenon happen this week that I think should be a lesson really to all of us. And I mean, George, I don't know how close you followed this, but basically I did a lot of shows the last few weeks, and you see a lot on social media about how the Milwaukee Bucks had to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo to somewhere else. And there was no one really had a rhyme or a reason. You couldn't get anybody to explain it. It's just they have to trade him. It appears as though, from what Doc Rivers was saying yesterday, there was no intention of trading him. ESPN reported the night before they were not going to trade him. And the analysts all said that they should, I think, to create content. I'm dead serious. I don't think there was ever a chance this guy was going to get traded, but anybody that you would talk to would say, they have no leverage in the offseason? Huh? I've covered baseball for 30 years. The most leverage you have is when you pit it up against 20 other teams in the offseason as opposed to 3 at the trade deadline. It was a phenomenon that I haven't seen in a long time, and it just made me think all we care about in the NBA is the drama of trades. I don't think that you could get most people to tell you what Giannis even looks like on the court these days. He's not even playing. He's hurt. Made no sense whatsoever. Made no sense that the Bucks would even want to trade him. Look, they may trade him in the offseason, not build around him. But we got to be careful about creating trades for the sake of our TVs and radio shows and columns, because that's not what it's about. It doesn't make the most sense. That'll do it for our show today. Thanks again to my co-host, George Kurtz. George, I'll see you Sunday morning.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Okay, keep your hands above your short. Keep your hands up here. Thanks again to our producer, Sam. I will see you guys Sunday for our next edition of Fantasy Sports Today.
Saturday, February, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
How about selling it to a minority ownership group that could show the NFL is moving in the right direction? Hey, it's one thing to talk about black coaches in the National Football League. It's one thing to talk about black general managers. It's another thing to start talking about a minority owner owning the football team.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
Gosh, I really do like the storylines with these open field events. Like I want us to expand these signature events to bigger fields, because I really do like the Joel Damon story, the Andrew Putnam story. It's part of the PGA Tour and what makes it so good. So I don't know where they're going to eventually end up on all of this.
The Smiley Show. Only on SportsGrid.
They cheated.
No, they're not saying
Right?
that. Well, they're not, but they're not really giving a reason on Kraft.
The only two of the voters I've seen, maybe it's more, came out and said why they didn't vote for him. And they said, I'm limited to 3 votes.
Yeah.
And I will always pick a player over a coach or an owner.
Right.
By the way, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy saying, I'm not afraid of you knowing who I picked. I'm going to tell you why I picked him.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.